on the 5th of October, with the first match being played between 2019 World Cup finalists England and New Zealand in Ahmedabad. India, that's the much-awaited encounter. India will play Pakistan on the 15th of October in Ahmedabad as well. The matches will be held across 10 venues. We'll give you all the details on the show. We'll take you through India's timetable and the big matches, the key matches of the World Cup. But let's introduce our guest to you. Vedam Jaishankar joins us here. Vedam, the schedule's finally out, so that's good. Only, just over 3 months left for the World Cup. But overall, it's still exciting. I mean, when I was looking at the timetable, who's playing who, at what venue, it is exciting and a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I suppose so. A lot of thought would have gone into this right from the beginning, Meha. It's just that I think they took their own sweet time in announcing it to the world. I wish they'd announced it a lot earlier.
Yeah.
But yes, we need to look at things like hotels. That's a big challenge, especially when teams like India and England are playing. They actually carry the maximum number of fans. So you need good 5-star hotels, lots of 5-star hotel rooms actually. And that would be the challenge. So you can't possibly take these big games, some of these big games, to the small centers, which don't really have facilities. In that, I'm a little shocked that Dharamshala is there, because I don't think Dharamshala has got enough facilities, especially for tourists to come and watch the game. But otherwise, I think the major cities in India, again, I'm not aware of Lucknow. Maybe Lucknow has got a lot of facilities, but I'm not aware of Lucknow. But other cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore, Chennai, yeah, no, these are big cities. They have airports and they're well connected. And of course, they have a lot of good hotel rooms. And of course, cricket facilities. Because what happens actually in these big games is you need to be organized just for a couple of days. You don't need to be organized for 5 days like in test matches.
Sure.
So I think today, with a lot of logistic supports that they get, they outsource most of the things like cleaning of the stadiums, the toilets, the washrooms, etc., etc., is being outsourced, and it's attended to pretty quickly. And I think even the outsourcing becomes very easy in the big cities rather than the smaller towns. So all in all, I think it's quite good. There may be the odd disgruntled persons around who would have hoped to have a lot of India matches. I can tell you for sure that Bangalore would have liked to have a couple of India matches, big India games, and they haven't had. But I think overall it's a good schedule.
It is a good schedule. Now, there was a doubt over whether Pakistan are going to travel. They also had problems with the venue. They said that they didn't want to play in Ahmedabad. They didn't want to play in Chennai. Well, all of those requests have been denied. They've been rejected. They are playing in Ahmedabad and they are playing in Chennai. But let's take a look at India's schedule. Now, India's opening match has the potential to be the first blockbuster of the tournament. The hosts opened their campaign on 8th of October versus Australia, the only team to have won an ODI series in the country since 2015. So this is a tough one, and that too in Chennai, where the Australians have won 5 of the 6 ODIs they played. Following that marquee clash, India will play Afghanistan in New Delhi 4 days later, but it is their third match which promises to be the most watched of the World Cup League stage. On Sunday, October 15th in Ahmedabad, Rohit Sharma's team will go up against arch rivals Pakistan, a fixture which will surely be sold out well in advance. On October 19th, India will play Bangladesh in Pune, followed by games against New Zealand in Dharamshala on the 22nd of October. Then England in Lucknow a week later. They will then play their next match versus qualifier 2. Remember, there are teams that are playing the qualifiers in Zimbabwe at the moment, and 2 teams from there will come into this pool in the World Cup. So they will play qualifier 2 on 2nd of November in Mumbai, South Africa, at the Eden Gardens on 5th of November. And lastly, qualifier 1 They will play against qualifier 1 in Bengaluru on 11th of November. So there you have it, Vedam. They are going to be playing one of those teams that will qualify from Zimbabwe from the qualifiers in Bengaluru, but just one game. The other thing being that India, so 10 venues are where all these World Cup matches are being hosted. India are playing at 9 of those 10 venues. Now compare this to Pakistan, and I'm sure this has come down to security issues, logistics. Pakistan are only playing at 5 of those venues. How do you see that? Is that an advantage, disadvantage? Because at the end of the day, Pakistan will know, they'll play at the same venue more than once. They'll have an idea and they'll be traveling less. Whereas India are going to be going from, right up to Dharamshala, then to Pune. Advantage, disadvantage, how do you see that? I mean, they do play IPL in different parts of the country.
Actually, when you look at it, we really need to look at the associations. When I say associations, I mean the guys who vote the BCCI into power. These guys, everybody wants to have an India match,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether India is playing Pakistan or India is playing Bangladesh or whom they are playing. Wherever India is playing, that will be a houseful match. So every single association, for whatever reason, they want to have an India match. So there's a lot of demand. And I think what the board has done is they've spread the India matches around. Like you correctly said, even Bangalore, which has a reason to be a little disgruntled because they have the BCCI president there, but still, as I look at it, the only decent match that Bangalore has is Pakistan versus Australia, or Pakistan versus New Zealand. But still, I think Bangalore has got the short end of it. I say Bangalore because I think the president is from Bangalore. I would have thought that the president, secretary, treasurer, they will have some of the better matches. The secretary and treasurers certainly do have the better matches. But having said that, everybody wants to have a slice of India and everybody wants to have India matches. So that's why when I qualified it saying that India will have to travel, they're used to traveling and it's a home ground wherever they're going. You could turn around and say that world champions should not have home grounds. World champions should be world champions anywhere. I accept that argument. But despite that, I still feel that India, in Indian conditions, is better to have a lot of their games. And also, they would have worked out the stadiums, whether it's a turning track, whether they have a huge outfield, whether they can manipulate the outfield in such a way that, make it thick and lush and, slow it down. Because over this tournament, we'll have to see run rates and other things. And as a host nation, you can control that. If you increase the number, if you increase the outfield, the length of the grass in the outfield, then the scoring rate obviously will come down.
Yeah.
If you want to make it fast, you cut it clean so that the ball runs. Likewise with the pitch, you can fiddle around. And I think India would have taken all these into considerations. And although there will be a BCCI committee or an ICC committee which will look into the grounds and other things, there is nothing better than local knowledge. So the local groundsman is an invaluable asset. So when you play matches in big places like, let's say, Mumbai or Calcutta or Chennai or Bangalore, then you have outstanding groundsmen who can give you tailor-made wickets and outfields. And I think the BCCI would have taken all these into considerations when they host these matches. And your other argument saying that Pakistan, they don't have to travel, so they'll be staying put. They still have to travel to about 4 or 5 places. And for Pakistan, every single place is alien. They're not used to it like India is used to the conditions and used to the people and a whole lot of things. So everything will be alien to Pakistan. And I'm only hoping that the crowds are not hostile because usually Pakistan is well received in India. And if the crowds are hostile, then I think they may be hostile when India plays Pakistan. But otherwise, I think Pakistan will get a good reception. And they should enjoy playing here. Conditions will be different. Totally different. And October is not an easy time to play because the monsoon would have just ended. Some of the places, the return monsoon would have already started. So I think all in all, India being such a vast country, there would be a lot of differences in even the climatic conditions.
Now, this schedule was announced at a launch event in Mumbai, and there was Virendra Sehwag present on the stage. There was Muthaiya Muralitharan there on the stage, and they were talking about their past experiences. We'll try and get you some excerpts of that conversation between them. But first, this is former India coach, former India player Ravi Shastri taking us through the Cricket World Cup venues.
ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 schedule is out. It will be played all over the country. 12 years after India hosted it last, I can't wait to give you the lowdown of the venues. Ekdam kirak. Aaja bhai Hyderabad, Rajiv Gandhi Stadium. Awaz will be so loud, it's electrifying the atmosphere there. Or socho, World Cup. Hello, tusi khende si. The roar of the crowds will reach real heights in the highest and the prettiest ground in the world in Dharamshala. Please come there, enjoy it. The setting is absolutely magnificent. Aur bhai, kya scene hai? Arun Jaitley Stadium, Delhi, the capital, will host some of the finest games. Come and watch the game, some of the biggest matches in the World Cup. Vanakkam Macha, the most knowledgeable crowd in India. It's a World Cup game at the Chidambaram Stadium. It's hot and it's Chennai. Lucknow, a city steeped in heritage, will host the World Cup for the first time at the Ekana Stadium. Tayar ho jao sab. Kasa काय मंडली? पुणेचा MCA Stadium ला या. Cricket legends will be there. World Cup होणार. You will have some serious fun. What's up, da? Get ready to make some noise at the Chinnaswamy. It's going to rain boundaries and sixes galore. Hello, Mumbai, the home of some serious cricket legends. And of course, the vibrant Wankhede Stadium gets ready to host the World Cup. Kolkata, Kemonacho. Well, the Eden Gardens, the iconic Eden Gardens, an institution of cricket, gets ready to host the World Cup. And cricket's very best will be present there. So make sure you're there too. Kem cho, Majama? Ahmedabad, Avade. Narendra Modi Stadium, 110,000 people. It's going to be one gigantic affair. Do not miss it. The World Cup games and the final. The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup schedule is out. It's absolutely fantastic all over the country. Just what the doctor ordered.
Well, Vedam, you spoke about how, it may not be a big deal with India traveling back and forth from, northern part of the country to down south. But let's talk about India's first game against Australia. This is a team that has just beaten them in the World Test Championship final. This is a team that won the ODI series the last time they were here. This is also a team that knows how to win World Cups. And it's always good to start your World Cup campaign with a win. So, having said that, how difficult would this be for India, the start against Australia?
No, it will be a challenging. It will be a challenging match. There's no doubt about it. Because, like you correctly said, Australia, wherever they have been playing, they are a class apart. And my only worry for Australia, at least, is that they would have had a tough, grueling series, the Ashes series, and I don't know how much it would have taken out of them mentally and physically. Maybe physically not so much, but mentally, an Ashes series or a series like that could take a lot out of you. And so close to the World Cup, I don't know if there'll be anything in the tank unless they've got a whole lot of new players that they've discovered who can really come up and measure up. So, but whether it is climatic conditions, whether it is pitch conditions, whether it is the weather, very environment between England and India, I think it'll be totally different. I don't know how quickly Australia would get used to it. You could turn around and say some of them have been playing a lot of IPL matches and they would have got used to it. But let's not forget that IPL matches are held in April, May, and in October, you don't know how it's going to handle. Like I said, there will be a retreating monsoon, but there will also be the return monsoon coming in. I mean, many of them wouldn't have seen these kind of rains. And it depends on how much the pitch can take, what pitches they're playing on, how much the outfield can take. So I
Sure.
think there are a lot of ponderables, there are a lot of posers, and it's not going to be a cakewalk for anybody.
Absolutely.
Definitely not for many of these foreign teams. For whom playing in India will be a challenge. Of course, you could turn around and say that for India playing in India on home conditions and home pressure can be excruciating,
Yeah.
and it would be tough. But I don't think Australia will really have a cakewalk. Australia will struggle. That's my reading of the whole situation,
Okay.
especially after the tough Ashes series.
Okay. Now let's also talk about then the biggest encounter really that I think both India and Pakistan would be waiting for. It is India versus Pakistan, which will be played on the 15th of October in Ahmedabad. So pencil that in your calendars. The biggest date, the most important date of the World Cup this year. Now, if you really want to know how intense this rivalry is, you've got to travel to Ahmedabad for this game. Because this is where you will actually find out what this means for both these countries. It's going to be slightly different, Vedam. I don't know the visa situation. How is it going to be? How many fans from Pakistan will be allowed here? But one thing I know for sure is that this is the biggest stadium in the world, 132,000. That's the seating capacity. Just imagine Indian fans here in a World Cup match. I mean, Virendra Sehwag today at that launch event was talking about how he wishes he was, that he would have played there at the Narendra Modi Stadium. This is going to be crazy. The encounter India-Pakistan in Ahmedabad.
Yes, absolutely. Because the cricketers of Virendra Sehwag era, or even slightly earlier than that, they played against Pakistan so often. So in Canada, in Sharjah, and a whole lot of places. I mean, they virtually got used to playing Pakistan, and the pressures were not so much. But now it's a different ball game because they don't play them so often. It's only in the major tournaments that you play each other. So both for Pakistan and for India, the pressures would be really, really tough. And like you said, India can't afford to lose to Pakistan in India. That will be a big challenge. And for Pakistan also, they would like to make a statement. And we need to look at who are the people they've selected, how the Indian team has been selected right from this West Indies tour onto the other matches and how they've handled it, how the youngsters have handled the pressure. Are we going to bank on the seniors whom everything is known about them, their weaknesses, their strengths? So it's easier for Pakistan to plan against them. But if the youngsters come good, then I think we'll look at a really, really different situation because then there's not enough data against them, especially for Pakistan. And Pakistan's main weapon are their bowlers, their fast bowlers. And I can't see a situation where you're going to give them bouncy tracks and fast tracks in Ahmedabad. I just can't see that. So I think Pakistan will struggle. They will struggle among a lot of things. Like one of the
Yeah.
things that you said, playing in front of 130,000, it can be eerie. It can be tough.
Yeah.
And when those catches go high up in the air and there's a crowd booing you, it's going to be very, very tough against that night sky to get that catch. So those kind of pressures, the odd catch, the odd run out, these are things which will really add up to it. But I can see it, like you said, it's going to be a very, very exciting match.
Yeah.
And it's whoever holds their nerves on that day, they'll win it rather than which is the better team.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're asking you as well. What are you most excited about? I know everybody wants to watch India versus Pakistan in Ahmedabad. But what are the other matches that you're looking forward to? Do let us know in the comments section below. Jamie Alto also joins us on the show, and I can tell you, he and I have been discussing this as to what are the big matches, the matches that we think will be interesting. Jamie, yes, India-Pakistan is what we're talking about. We'll move to the other matches, but I just feel this is going to be, like I was saying, absolutely crazy to have so many Indian fans at a stadium where they all will be seated cheering for one team, because I don't think there'll be too many Pakistani fans there. And, the other thing being, how will the Pakistan team be received here? 2011 to now, things have changed drastically in terms of relationship with Pakistan. How do you see that panning out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the bitterness and the long history between the two countries, in particular the governments of the two countries. No need to go there. But 2016, the Pakistan team did come to play the T20 World Cup. It's been very incident free. Yes, bilateral series have ceased between these teams for many years now. But whenever they have met here, anywhere, I mean, the fans have got along. And hospitality has always been the forte of Indians and Pakistanis. I mean, how many Indian cricketers from Virender Sehwag era, like Vedam mentioned, but even from after and before them have said that when we go to Pakistan, how fondly we were welcomed, and I mean, I think Sehwag recently gave a statement. He was buying shawls or saris or something for his mother, and the shopkeeper refused to take a rupee from them. And the same thing happens here as well. Of course, those were very different times. You're not going to see any Pakistan player or any member of the Pakistan touring squad going anywhere but the ground or the hotel. Because of obvious reasons. But look, it's what 100 and a lakh 20, a lakh 30, I think is the capacity at that stadium. Like you said, I don't see any Pakistan supporters unless they happen to hold passports from another country. Maybe they're non-resident Pakistanis. That is definitely very hard to look beyond that match as the marquee clash of the group stage.
We all have some very interesting India-Pakistan story. You guys have covered World Cups. Anything that comes to your mind, Vedam?
Yeah, like I said, India-Pakistan matches are always a challenge. And in the various World Cups that I covered,
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite crazy. Even the spectators get into it, not just on that day, but from days earlier.
Yeah.
They talk about it from days earlier in the hotel that you stay, your cab person, your whole lot of others who, even if they are not Indians or Pakistanis, they know that this is a special game. Just like we know Australia, England is a special game. They know it's a special game and they keep talking about it, and they even try to review, saying that X is going to do very well. Like in this case, maybe they'll say Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to take Virat Kohli's wicket or Rohit Sharma's wicket. So these are the ribbing which really comes. And the challenge for the players, like I said, will be right even when they get into the planes.
Sure.
It will not just be the pilot or the announcers or the air hostess and others, but even in the passenger lounge or wherever, or even among the co-passengers, people are going to tell them, come on, guys, you can't lose to Pakistan, you got to win. And the same thing will happen everywhere. The hotels that they stay in, the waiters that serve them, the others. It's going to be madness right through. And that is the kind of in-your-face pressure that you don't want to take with you. The guys who are able to shut out that kind of noise and stay focused, they are the ones who will really do well. But if you get sucked into that and get dragged into some fight and some argument, then you're going to be in trouble. And I think the Indian management has a lot of things to handle. And it's not just question of ring fencing your team. Ring fencing your team is the easiest thing to do. But when you ring fence them, there's a different type of pressure that you're going to enforce on them. What you need to do is allow them to be their own self, allow them to relax, but at the same time ensure they don't get sucked into that kind of bitterness, which obviously the media, the spectators, and a whole lot of others will be carrying with them. And that's not something you need to keep it at a sporting level, but at the same time, be competitive, know that you have to win, and get ahead and do your job.
Jamie, any stories from you?
Well, my take, I have always, whenever the chance has come to cover India-Pakistan, be it 11 World Cup, 15 World Cup, 16 T20 World Cup, or 19 World Cup, I've always chosen to skip that match. And I've been fortunate to be in a position where I've been able to send someone else, because that is one match which I do not want to cover. I want to enjoy that match. And second, I know, like, the kind of baggage that Vedam's talking about here, when you're a journalist, the pressure to deliver, your deadlines and your copies and your videos. So like I said, I've had the privilege of being able to say on those 4 times, I'm not going to be there. 19, I remember there were 52 Indian journalists went to the 15 World Cup. 5 of us chose not to go to Australia just to escape all the baggage and the pressure that comes with covering the Indian team. Many laughed at us. So I have always wanted to go into India-Pakistan as a fan and just enjoy it, not write copies, not do preview. It's just too much expectation. That said, on the same lines, I remember 1992, I was very young. but the visual of Javed Miandad mimicking Kiran More and the flat which we lived in Bombay, my mother still lives there. Just the chorus of people across that building, only 5 floors in that building, but the sound of every inhabitant of that building shouting when a Pakistan wicket fell. 1996, that quarter final, I was in hostel, but Veda mentioned air hostesses and air pilots. My father was actually on a flight, and somehow they broke protocol, and the pilot was giving updates to all the passengers while the flight was in the air. Don't ask me how that pilot knew the score, but my father says literally that entire, I think it was jet, the plane literally shook when the pilot announced that Javed Miandad had been run out, So these are the kind of stories which we grew up hearing. But like I said, I've never been to an India-Pakistan live match as a journalist. And I'm very, very thankful for it because all my memories are unblemished or unburdened by being a journalist, having to fiercely file my copies. So, yeah.
Maybe just jump at the deep end with going to this one. In India, imagine how absolutely crazy that would be. But let's also then take you through what Pakistan's campaign is going to be like. Now, the ICC's announcing of the World Cup fixtures was delayed partly due to soured political relations between India and Pakistan, with India's refusal to travel to Pakistan for the Asia Cup later this year, triggering a standoff between the two boards. A resolution was reached earlier this month when the PCB's hybrid model was approved by the Asian Cricket Council, which meant that Pakistan agreed to split fixtures with Sri Lanka, which will host all of India's Asia Cup games. There were reports that Pakistan were not comfortable with playing in Ahmedabad and also wanted their matches shifted out of Chennai, but no such requests have been entertained. While most of the 10 World Cup teams will play their matches across the majority of the 10 venues, Pakistan's fixtures have been allotted to 5 centres: Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Bengaluru, Chennai and Kolkata. And they start their tournament versus qualifier 1 on October 6th. Now, during this launch event, Virendra Sehwag, former India opener, he was there on stage and he was asked this question about how India will perform. And, some of the conversation was about his experience in the World Cup in the past. Of course, he was part of the Indian team in 2011 that won the World Cup. So here is Virendra Sehwag talking about the 2011 World Cup and how that team did it for Sachin Tendulkar. And now he believes the same should be done for Virat Kohli. Listen in.
I have a idea of the expectations on the senior players, but now being a senior myself, I can understand what they went through and how special it is to play a home World Cup and how excited people are going to be. So yeah, it's an experience that everyone wants to have in their career, and I'm getting to do it twice, so I'm really, really happy.
I still remember that when Sachin was playing his 2011, I think was last World Cup, that we were telling him that. We told him in 2007 also, we told him in 2003 also that this is your last World Cup. But he said that, I will retire after you. And he actually retired after me. So we played that World Cup for Tendulkar. At least we gave more than 100% that. And if you win the World Cup, that's a great exit for Sachin Paji. I think Virat Kohli is similar. He's in Sachin Tendulkar's shoes. The way he plays, the way he talks, the way he look after others, and the way he played cricket with his passion. So I think he's the one now. Everybody's looking for this World Cup to win it for Virat Kohli, because the kind of player he is, the kind of human being he is excellent, and he helps a lot other cricketers. So I think whenever Virat Kohli plays a World Cup or a big series, he give more than a youngster. So he give more than 100%, and he make sure that youngsters or other teammates, compete with Virat Kohli. So, and he beat all of them. That the way Sachin Tendulkar did, even during 2011 World Cup or 2003 World Cup, he scored lots of runs, more than us and more than Gambhir and Yuvraj. I think Virat Kohli is also looking forward to this World Cup because it's happening in India, and India is the best country to play a World Cup because 100,000 people will watch you in Ahmedabad, in Narendra Modi Stadium. And wherever he goes, that Indian fans, that 12th man or 13th man, will praise or will support Virat Kohli, and I'm sure that he is used to of playing in all the grounds, and he knows how the wicket will behave. I'm sure that he will score good runs, and hopefully he will win the World Cup for us again.
There's one thing that we're sure of is that Virat Kohli will raise his game come the World Cup. He will do everything that he can to play the best in this World Cup. But Jamie, just the fact that this is a different team. 2019 World Cup, Rohit Sharma was the star really for them. How do you see this time around for this India team? Who do you think will be that standout player?
I'm going to stick my neck out, Meha, and just answer the question very easily and say Shubman Gill, because I think even if his one-day form, and let's face it, of the three formats, it's his one-day form which has been outstanding this year. I think he leads the run charts for non-associates members with the most runs. And given the fact, Meha, I have a feeling that of the three formats, the one-day format is actually in the most critical health. Is that there's just not enough quality teams, and I think this being a just a 10-team tournament, being in India, where I think the tracks are by and large going to aid India's batting. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that Sachin Tendulkar's record for the most runs in a single edition back in 2003 might just be challenged and even broken by someone like Shubman Gill. I expect runs from Virat Kohli. I expect a decent outing from Rohit Sharma, but just, Gill being the youngest and just being so confident, this year, and being so at ease opening the innings in the format, which I think he's best suited to, that is one-day cricket. So if you're looking for someone like Rohit Sharma to score 500s or more, for me right now, that's going to be Shubman Gill 3.5 months from now.
Okay. The other thing being, Jamie, that I was looking at the league stage matches. Now, India played their first match against Australia in Chennai. They traveled to Delhi to play against Afghanistan. So, right from down south, they travel up to Delhi. Then they go to Ahmedabad. They play Pakistan there. Then they go down to Pune, where they play Bangladesh on the 19th of October. They go all the way up north to Dharamshala. Then they come to Lucknow, then they go to the western part in Mumbai, then they go to the east, Kolkata, and then Bengaluru. I asked the same question to Vedam. I'm going to ask this to you as well. Is this going to be a disadvantage for India, given that they're traveling everywhere? And I know other teams are also doing that, but Pakistan, can that be something that they actually would be happy with, given that, they are only playing at 5 venues?
I was waiting for this question, and I was hoping this question would come. Playing 9 matches at 5 venues is a definite advantage. Less travel, less headaches, less stress. You get to know the venues. But that said, Maya, look, this is just see it like the IPL. The IPL, these same players, every single one of them, one day here, in the IPL, they're getting home often at 2, 3 in the morning and leaving a few hours later. So compared to that, I think this is actually going to be a breeze. And look, there's pressure of the World Cup. Veda mentioned that they shouldn't take that pressure into their minds and into the field. But having 3-4 days off, sometimes 5 days off, between travel, it's nothing like compared to the IPL when they're hopping from city to city every 36 hours, 48 hours. And I think these are all professional players. They're going to be used to it. And the best part about it is India know all these venues very, very well. It's October, barring a bit of dew in certain venues. There's no real challenge, no real hindrance to this Indian team, apart from whatever is between their ears. If they can stay focused, I think despite Rishabh Pant not being there, despite the doubts over Bumrah, the doubts over KL Rahul, I still think India have a fantastic chance to pretty much walk into the semi-finals blindfolded. That's my take on India's ODI schedule and chances.
The thing is, now every match is crucial for all the teams, but I'm looking at India's timetable here, Vedam, and the one match that sticks out for me is against New Zealand in Dharamshala. Bouncy tracks, New Zealand, the kind of pace attack they have. That's going to be one test for India.
Yeah, but also if you really look at the schedule, there's a lot of traveling, like you said, for India. Now, sometimes this actually takes your mind off the match itself. You know, when you're traveling and moving to the next place or you move to the next city. New Zealand, yes, Dharamshala would be right up their alley. It'll be much cooler than the other places, and maybe they'll get a little bit of bounce. And because of the high altitude, there could be a lot more. The ball could carry a lot more. It could be working to their favor. But again, New Zealand will struggle in Indian conditions. They have not had enough time to get used to it, and they are again being pushed. They are coming into their season. They are actually coming out from a layoff, and they are coming into their cricketing season. So I expect them to be a little rusty, and I don't think New Zealand will be quite the challenge they are in New Zealand, because New
Okay.
Zealand has more or less struggled in India, and I don't think it will be any different this time either.
Okay, now what are the key matches? India versus Pakistan, we've already spoken about on 15th of October. Promises to be the standout match of the group stages. But there are plenty of other marquee clashes to pencil in on your calendars. This include England versus New Zealand on the 5th of May. India versus Australia on the 8th. India, that's the first match that India play. That's against Australia, and this is going to be a tough one. Then India versus Pakistan, like I said, on 15th. But let's also talk about the rivalry between Pakistan and Afghanistan. I want to see that match as well. We've seen in the past, how that plays out. So that match is on the 23rd of October. Then there is the Trans-Tasman rivalry, Australia and New Zealand in Dharamshala on the 28th of October. It will be a battle of paces. Then the semi-finals and finals. The first semi-final will take place on 15th of November in Mumbai, and the second one will be in Kolkata the following day. Should Pakistan happen to reach the final four, by the way, they will play their semi-final in Kolkata irrespective of where they finish on the points table, which means that if India qualify for the semi-finals, they will play in Mumbai. But in case India face Pakistan, then that match will be shifted to Kolkata. The curious case of why that is happening, Jamie, security reasons, you think?
Absolutely. There's no chance that the Pakistan team will play in Mumbai. So it makes sense. And Kolkata was their main venue when the 2016 T20 World Cup happened. It was not supposed to be. It was shifted at the last minute. But Kolkata is where Pakistan have actually done decently well also. I remember there was a silver jubilee or centenary of something or the other, and it was a one-off match about 17, 18 years ago, and Pakistan actually won that match very handsomely. Salman Butt got 100. So I think Pakistan will be very, very happy if they get that far. I don't rank this one day team. I know they're ranked, they're in the top 4, I think, in one days. But I don't actually rank this Pakistan team very, very highly. But just speaking of the marquee matches, just picking up on what Vedam was talking about, I think every single match that's going to be played in Dharamshala, because of the bounce, and I think mainly Dharamshala would be morning games. They won't be day-night matches. That's going to be a challenge for any team that does not have a good pace. Like you mentioned the bounce right now. There's a match between Bangladesh and Afghanistan there. I don't know what the date is. But given the fact that Afghanistan's pace bowlers have really been on the rise over the last year and a half, whereas Bangladesh's pace bowlers are not that good. It's a very low-key match. Barring fans of the two countries, no one's going to pencil in that match as a marquee clash. But that could be the match where Afghanistan actually defeat Bangladesh more than any spin-friendly track because of the quality of their pace bowlers, Maya.
Bangladesh, Afghanistan, that's on 7th of October, Jamie. But now, believe it or not, Khichdi can win you a World Cup. This is Virendra Sehwag talking about different superstitions during the 2011 World Cup. Listen in.
मैंने क्रिकेट देखनी शुरू की थी 1992 के वर्ल्ड कप से। सो उस समय मैं शायद 8 स्टैंडर्ड में होता था और सिर्फ सचिन तेंदुलकर को देखने के लिए मैंने वो वर्ल्ड कप देखना शुरू किया। तो उस समय मेरे घर में केबल भी नहीं होता था, पड़ोसी के घर में जाकर देखना शुरू करता। तब ऐसा लगा था जब वो खेलते थे कि यार ये वर्ल्ड कप मतलब एक मैच ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ, एक इंग्लैंड, एक पाकिस्तान, एक न्यूजीलैंड, मतलब अगर ये वर्ल्ड कप में मुझे खेलने का मौका मिले तो मुझे भी प्राउड मोमेंट फील होगा अपने लिए भी, बट मैं अपने देश को भी शायद प्राउड फील करा सकता हूँ कि मैं वर्ल्ड कप खेल रहा हूँ, रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ और जीते हम लोग वर्ल्ड कप। तो मेरे लिए तो वर्ल्ड कप द बेस्ट मोमेंट है और हम लोग 2011 में मैं 3 वर्ल्ड कप खेला हूँ, एक फाइनल हारा हूँ, एक फाइनल जीता हूँ और एक क्वालिफाई भी नहीं किया हूँ सेकंड राउंड के लिए। तो अप एंड डाउन रहा है वर्ल्ड कप में, तो बट बेस्ट था हमारा 2003 वर्ल्ड कप और 2011 वर्ल्ड कप। 2011 वर्ल्ड कप हम लोग जीते। हर कोई जहां भी जा रहे थे सिर्फ यही बोल रहे थे कि यार इस बार वर्ल्ड कप जीतना है। तो हम लोग ये बोल रहे थे कि यार होस्ट नेशन तो कभी जीता ही नहीं है, तो हम कैसे जीतेंगे। तो सब अपने सुपरस्टिशंस लगा रहे थे कि अच्छा ये करेंगे तो जीतेंगे। MS धोनी पूरे टूर्नामेंट के टाइम में उन्होंने मानेका का एक मैच शुरू होते थे, उनके कमरे में खिचड़ी खाई है। रन नहीं बन रहे थे बट कह रहे थे खिचड़ी खा के जीत तो रहे हैं, मेरे रन बने ना बने हम एटलीस्ट जीत तो रहे हैं। तो वो जीत के लिए सब लोग अपने अपने सुपरस्टिशंस लगा रहे थे। आई थिंक आप बायलैटरल में 500, 600, 1000 रन बना लो, कोई नहीं पूछता, लेकिन अगर आप वर्ल्ड कप में 300, 400 रन बना के कंट्रीब्यूट करते हो, जीतते हो, या 10 विकेट ले लेते हो और आपकी टीम वर्ल्ड कप जीतती है, तो वो लाइफ लॉन्ग याद रहती है। MS धोनी का वो छक्का, कपिल देव के वो 175, वो आज भी गूज बम देते हैं हम जब दोबारा टीवी पे देखते हैं। तो आई थिंक वर्ल्ड कप से बढ़िया चीज और कोई नहीं है। ओलंपिक है क्रिकेट का।
That's why, Jimmy, I keep saying you should have more khichdi. But superstitions, they've been an integral part of this game, and they obviously get more intense during World Cups. I've heard so many stories of players sitting in one position. They want to go to the bathroom, but they will just not move because they know if they move, they might lose. Their team might lose a wicket, and that's what makes it so exciting. And it also makes you realize how big World Cups are and how important these matches are for the players, for the fans. Like Sehwag rightly said, nobody really cares about bilateral series. It's about winning a World Cup, and India haven't won it in a while. This is as good a chance as they'll get to win at home.
Absolutely, as good a chance. And I know, I mean, we all were speculating. Many former players or players who were on the verge of retirement have given big statements about the health of the ODI game, especially the bilateral. So from that perspective, Meha, this is a fantastic World Cup. It could actually be the last relevant World Cup, something I've said before, because we don't know, 4 years from now, what state one-day cricket will be in. I mean, just a cursory glance at all the teams, most of their top players won't be around, be it India, be it Australia, be it England, be it Bangladesh. Every team has at least half their top 11 is not going to be around. So from that perspective, and also one more thing, I know the T20 is the most popular, it's the most commercially viable. Leagues are taking over the world and pulling players away from national duty. And I know Test cricket remains the pinnacle. But I still think heart and heart, because of, like Veda mentioned, that Virender Sehwag era, most of the players today playing cricket, or let's say all the players who will be representing their countries at the World Cup in 3 years' time, every single one of them, I'm willing to wager, was drawn into this game primarily because of vivid World Cup memories, one-day World Cup memories. So yes, there are challenges to the 50-over game. Commercially may not be as viable as T20. Players may be lured towards the big money of leagues, but I still think most people would prefer a one-day World Cup win than a WTC win, and definitely more than a T20 World Cup win. The fans may have different thoughts on this, but I think the players will still value a one-day World Cup. That's why I think this is the last easy chance India has to win the World Cup. And people will say, what are you talking about? How is it going to be easy? India's not won a World Cup for what? For 12 years, and an IC trophy for 10 years. But I still think that overall the health of the one-day game being so poor, the lack of quality challenges, the outstanding home support, the knowledge of conditions. Since 2015, only one team has won a series in India, right? India will have to blow this by colossal proportions not to win this World Cup.
Okay, now let's put you both on the spot. Tell me your top 4.
Your top 4 you mean by players or the teams?
Teams. Your semi-finalists, Vedam.
I would say India, Australia, England, and the fourth would be a toss-up. I think it would be a toss-up between. Also among the qualifiers, while the West Indies have been playing rubbish cricket so far, but they have the talent, especially for this sort of cricket. And you never know who's going to. It's like the Star Wars. What is that? The Force Awakens. So you never know what's the Force Awakens in the West Indies because they have it.
Not happening. Vedam, they're all but out. They're all but out.
I'm saying no. What I want to do is I want to pick a dark horse. And for me, the dark horse would be the qualifier, and I think it will be the West Indies.
Okay, Jamie.
The first three are exactly like Vedam said. The fourth would have been a straightforward choice for me, given the fact that until a few months ago, they were the number one-day team. And more than that, their record at one-day World Cups. But without Kane Williamson, without Michael Bracewell, who was their standout player when they came to India in January, New Zealand, for me, are not that fourth team. I don't rate Sri Lanka. The fact that Sri Lanka and West Indies are both in the qualifiers, and yes, West Indies are actually one more loss away from not being there. It's very hard to pick. Probably I would have gone for Pakistan, given the fact that West Indies are almost out, Sri Lanka are in the qualifiers. But something about that Pakistan team, they're blow hot, blow cold, and the pressure of playing in India, I think, with all the scrutiny, might just get to them. So for the first time, I'm actually at a loss. You may ask me why I've not gone for South Africa. I'm probably the odd one out who has never rated them at these one-day World Cups, because no matter what they achieve in the 4 years before, when it comes to World Cups, they have just some way of and I've been there. 1999 semi-final, I was at Edgbaston. 2015 World Cup semi-final, I was at Eden Gardens, and to see them blow those two matches, I will never have them. So I'm actually at a loss. Maybe I'll take a cue from Vedam and I'll pick a dark horse, and I would say Afghanistan.
Okay, I think it's time for us then to wrap this up. Jamie Alter and Vedam Jaishankar for joining us here. How do you like our show? Do let us know in the comments section below. And also do let us know what you think of this schedule, the World Cup schedule that ICC has released today. India are traveling all over the country. What are going to be the most difficult matches for India? Do let us know those details as well in the comment section below. Any comments, anything that you want to write in the comment section below. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
With all this gear, you must be wondering if I'm climbing a mountain. Well, let me give you a wider look of this place. This is Asia's largest mountain of shame.
A mountain of waste, almost the height of the Qutub Minar.
When you enter capital cities of some of the biggest countries in the world, you don't have three garbage mountains waiting to welcome you, depending on whichever side of the city you enter from.
The thing is that a lot of times we talk about landfills only when there's a fire at the landfill. You need to understand that a landfill is at fire almost throughout the year. It's only when the firefighters are not able to douse the fire is when it actually catches the nation's attention, the city's attention, or media attention.
The towering landfills worsen one of Delhi's biggest problems: pollution.
यहाँ पर आप रात को आओ, दिन में आओ, आप 1 घंटे बैठ नहीं सकते बाहर। इतनी धूल, प्रदूषण, महक, आप खाना भी नहीं खा सकते बाहर बैठ के।
Life around the landfill is a curse.
हमारे घर में जो बड़े हैं, उन्हें अस्थमा के वो पेशेंट है। आए दिन उनको नेबुलाइजर लगाना पड़ता है।
डॉक्टर ने भी मुझे ये चीज बोला कि यहाँ का एरिया छोड़ के